simple off-shoulder bustier top. So it's an off-shoulder top with a band sleeve, that is the upper part does not have any elastic and it's slightly padded. So I'm going to show you guys how to take your correct off-shoulder measurements to make a top like this. So it's a very detailed tutorial and very beginners friendly. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. So we'll be starting with the front panel and we'll be working on our pattern paper for more clarity and accuracy of measurements. So I have my pattern paper here and it's in a fold of 2. So I folded my pattern paper using the widest circumference of my body, which is my hip measurement, divided by 4, 11.5 inches, and I added extra 3 inches to it for the dart and seam allowance. So I have about 14.5 inches here on fold. And I've also gone ahead to mark my basic vertical measurements, as you can see. So I'm going to show you guys how I came about these lines. So the first line here is the shoulder line. That is the shoulder line, and from my shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches. 10 inches, as you can see, and then to my under bust is 13.5 inches, and then to the waist measurement is 16 inches, and the full length of my top is 20 inches, which I have here. So I'll just go ahead and label the lines now for you guys to see. So after labeling, the first thing you want to do is to mark your shoulder to shoulder measurement on the shoulder line. So because my paper is in a fold of 2, I'm going to divide my shoulder to shoulder measurement by 2. So I'm going to have 8 inches for me. So I'll mark 8 inches from the closed angle of the paper. And then from that point, I'll come down by my round armhole measurement divided by 2, which is 9 inches for me. And then I'll connect the lines together. So after connecting the lines, I'm going to further extend the line this way towards the open angle of the paper. The next thing to do now is to place the shoulder slope. So I'll come down by 1 inch from the shoulder line and then form a slant to meet the line this way. So marking the shoulder slope is not really important, but we're needing it for the armhole curve. So I'll come over to this point and take the midpoint, which is 4 inches, and then I'll come in by half an inch. And then on this new line I just drew, I'll mark my round bust measurement divided by 4, which is 10.5 inches for me. So I'll take my curve ruler now and connect the 3 points together to form my armhole curve. So after connecting it, this is what we have. So the next thing you want to do is to determine where you want your off shoulder to start. So I'll be coming down by 5 inches from the shoulder line. So I'll come down by 5 inches. So this point is going to be my neckline. So I'm going to just extend the line this way. So I'm going to just cross out this upper part because we won't be needing it anymore. We're going to start from this 5 inches mark because it's an off shoulder top. So I'll just cross it out and cut it out. So the next thing to do now is to place our dart on the line. So your dart is your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So for me I have 4 inches, but I'll be marking 4.5 inches because of joining as my joining allowance. So I'll mark 4.5 inches on all the lines, on the waistline, the under bust line, the bust line, and the new shoulder line. So after marking, I'll take my ruler and connect all the points together. So I'll use my ruler to connect all the points together. So this is what we have after connecting. So I'll just go ahead to cut out the upper part so that it won't confuse you guys. because we won't be needing it. So this is all we'll be working with, and then I'll extend the dark line down to the full length of my top. I'll extend it this way. So the next thing to do now is to place the dart measurement. So on the under bust line, I'm going to take 1.5 inches on both sides of the line. On the under bust line, and then on the full length of my top, I'm going to take 1 inch on both sides. And then I'll take my ruler and connect the points to each other, just as you can see me doing in the video. So if you're on the small size, you can take 1 inch on both sides of the under bust line and half an inch on the full length of your dress or top. But if you're on the big side, you can take 1.5 inch on both sides of the under bust line and 1 inch on the full length. And then on this bust line, I'm going to come down by 0.5 inches. So this is going to avoid any pointy effect on the bust point. And then I'll take my curved ruler and connect it this way, forming a curve. So I'll go over now to the neckline of this off shoulder top, and I'll take 1 inch on both sides of the line. So if you're on the small size as well, you can take 0.5 inches on both sides. And then on the bust line, I'll come up again by 0.5 inches. And then use my curved ruler to curve it to meet the upper dart this way. So I'll curve it out this way, and then I'll do the same thing for the other side. So after forming the dart, this is what it looks like. So right now I want to show you guys how to calculate your round off shoulder measurements. So remember that for this particular top, we won't be making use of elastic band for the off shoulder, the upper part of the off shoulder. So to get your off shoulder measurement, go ahead to take your round off shoulder measurement, as you can see in the picture on the video. So for this particular one, I got 46 inches for my round off shoulder measurement. So the first thing you are going to do is to get your armpit to armpit measurement, your pit to pit measurement, which is like your chest measurement. So for me, I got 13 inches. So I'm going to be using 13 inches for my front pit to pit measurement and my back pit to pit measurement. You can see the image on the video. So I have 46 inches for my round off shoulder measurement. So I'm going to subtract the 13 inches in two places, which is 26 inches. So I have 20 inches left. So that 20 inches left now is going to be shared among my sleeve. Like the two parts of my sleeve, I'm going to share 10 inches to form my round off shoulder measurement. I hope you guys understand what I just explained. So if you don't understand, you can go ahead to watch the video again. I'm sure you're going to get it. So 46 inches minus the 26 inches now, I'm going to be left with 20 inches. So I'm going to use 13 inches for the front pit to pit measurement and 13 inches for the back pit to pit measurement. So since it's in a fold of 2, I'm going to mark 6.5 inches for the front part. So from the dart point, I took what I have there and I have 3.5 inches there. And then after the dart, I'm going to mark the remaining 3 inches to make my 6.5 inches. So I'll mark my 3 inches there. I'll mark the 3 inches after the dart now. And then I'll measure whatever excess I have here and place it on the chest line, just as you can see me doing, to form a new armhole curve so that it won't truncate my armhole size. So I'll take my curved ruler now and connect the points together this way. So this is the new armhole we'll be working with. I'll go ahead to just cross out the older one By the time we measure what we have before the that and after the that,